Hey guys, how's it going? It's Eve, and welcome to Flight Academy. We will be taking a look at how to create instant docks and undocks, safe spots, and tactical bookmarks in order to help you navigate New Eden. So first off, we're going to talk about instant docks. In order to create an instant dock bookmark, you must be within the station's 2,500 meter docking bubble. As seen on this station, it is the little ring of lights that are on the perimeter of the station. The best way to create an instant dock bookmark is to find yourself a nook or a little cranny inside of the station and create a bookmark in that location. In this case, it is relatively safe to create a bookmark in the middle of the undock here, but you can have them spread out or have them in different spots within the 2,500 meter radius. So in this case, we'll just go ahead, create a bookmark called Instant Dock, and hit submit. And now, wherever we are in the station system, if we were to right click in space, warp to our instant dock, we will always warp within this area and therefore always be inside of the station's docking range. Real quickly, I will show you how to create an instant undock. The best way to do this is in a frigate with a micro warp drive on it. Doesn't necessarily have to have weapons, it all depends on where you are. So we're currently docked in the station, we'll undock. Now we're going to point our camera directly down, and we're just going to click as straight down as we possibly can, and we're going to activate our micro warp drive. The only way for this to work and create your instant undock is that you must be a minimum of 150 kilometers away from the station. Once you are at a satisfied distance away from the station, stop your ship, and you'll need to create your arbitrary waypoint in space. In our case, we'll use Control B, and you can go ahead and save your new instant undock, submit, and now you can use it whenever you undock from the station. Do keep in mind that all station undocks are slightly different. I pointed my ship directly down during this demonstration, but you may have to point your ship up or at a weird angle or directly horizontal, so do keep that in mind. So next up, we're going to take a look at aligned mid-saves. So a mid-save bookmark is a bookmark between two objects, two stations, two stargates, two celestials, or a combination of that. So in our case, if we were to open up our star map, we are currently here in space. So our mid-save, it is aligned between the PF tag 346 gate and the Stargate of XAC BV98. So if we were to warp between these 2 points, our ship will actually show up on the overview while we're in warp. So now we will be taking a look at how to create a mid-save bookmark. So we're here at the XAC BV98 gate, and we are currently aligned to PF tag 346. We'll initiate warp towards the gate, press Control B, and we'll just name it save, wait for a little bit of distance to go by, and hit save. Now we have created our aligned mid-save bookmark, and when we align to it, we are going to be aligned between the two gates, but we're also going to be in the middle of nowhere. And there we have it, we are now in our aligned mid-save pocket, aligned between the two stargates in the system. So next up, we're going to take a look at unaligned mid-saves. These saves are also, just like before, in the middle of nowhere. However, they are not aligned between two objects, making them harder to discover and harder for you to actually show up on an overview if someone's warping back and forth. So if we were to open up our map once again, here we are in the middle of nowhere in the system. As opposed to our other two mid-saves where they are in between two stargates, this one is in the middle of nowhere, meaning no one's really going to be warping between this spot unless they have a similar save. So we'll go ahead and talk about how to create a unaligned mid-save. In order to create a unaligned midpoint, we are currently here in one of our aligned safes. So we are going to align from that safe towards this citadel, and we are going to warp. What we're also going to do is just reset our new location window, and we're just going to name it 1. Let a little bit of distance go by and hit submit. And there we go, we now have a unaligned mid-safe created. So if we were to go ahead and open the solar system map, you can now see right over here that we have a bookmark in the middle of nowhere in the solar system. So it is completely unaligned from any single object inside of the solar system. So here we are in the system of Vomolia. We are currently in a deep safe. So if we open up our star map, zoom into the solar system, you can see that we are actually here at the very bottom of the solar system. This isn't a perfect deep safe as we are actually aligned between the two stargates, but the point remains. A deep safe is when you are very far away from any other celestial station, combat site in the system. A very easy way to create a deep safe is to find yourself in a incursion gate, for example, or a PvE ratting site, bookmark the location, warp off, wait for it to despawn, and now you have a deep safe in some location that is far away from every single celestial. Next up, we are going to be talking about a rolling safe. A rolling safe is a safe mainly for fleets, or just maybe even you, just to keep yourself moving. You never want to stay in space stationary, otherwise it's easier for you to be scanned down. Rolling safe, well, you are constantly moving and creating a waypoint every 150 kilometers so you can keep moving. In the terms of being in a fleet and creating a rolling safe, an interceptor, for example, will burn at maximum speed in a random direction, and every 150 kilometers you'll be creating a bookmark, or if you are 150 kilometers away from your fleet will warp to you, you'll burn off another 150 kilometers, and the fleet will burn and warp to you again. So we'll show you how to create a rolling safe. So in order for us to create our rolling safe, we have created just our first waypoint where we are going to start to showcase how this works. So we are going to align to the derelict ruins, activate our prop mod, and wait until we are over 150 kilometers away from our start point. So now that we are 150 kilometers away, we can create a second bookmark, and now we are essentially creating a rolling safe. If the fleet was at the start waypoint or bookmark here, they would have warped to the second bookmark. And our fleet, for example, will be here waiting for us to go another 150 kilometers and then warping to us again. This is very useful if you are in a hostile system, you're always moving, and it's very difficult to scan down a moving target as it is to scan down a stationary target. You can create rolling safes as long as you want. Really, it comes down to what it is you're doing or what your fleet commander has in store. Next up, we are going to be taking a look at tactical bookmarks and how to create them. So first things first, we are going to be talking about observation points. These are essentially points in space that are near a stargate, a station, a keep star, or a citadel for that matter, that will give you information on your overview, but make you far away from everyone that you will not be tackled, you will not be attacked. So how do we go about creating one of those? For this demonstration, we are going to make a pretty simple observation point, but you can make them more elaborate further away from whatever it is you're trying to observe. But for this, we are only going to be going about 150 kilometers above the keep star here on the simulator test server. I'm going to go like directly up, activate our prop mod, and wait for us to get, for example, 150 kilometers away from keep star. Alright, so here we are. We are about 160 kilometers away from the Keep Star, but it gives us plenty of information on our overview. So we can see here that there is a Triglavian ship way over here, about 300 kilometers away from us. We're safe from it, but we have the information we need on our overview. We can see that there are a ton of wrecks 1,000 kilometers away at the Sodio, but we're all the way at the Keep Star, so we have an observation point also for the Sodio. You can see that there is a Rhea also 1,000 kilometers away. You can see that there's a Revelation also over there. Basically, this will show us what it is we need to see without being in harm's way. This was a very simple observation point. You can make more elaborate ones. Next up is off-grid tacticals. There won't be really a demonstration on how to create this because the size of the current grids. But what a off-grid tactical is it is a tactical waypoint, for example, on the Keep Star you're currently seeing on screen, just far enough that the Keep Star grid doesn't load for you, but it's close enough that you can initiate warp, which with the current grids may be about 5,000 kilometers, maybe even less. However, it's something that even I don't really use too much, but it is used a lot by fleet commanders who need to sneak up on a target. So next up and finally, we have bounce safes. So a bounce safe is really just a indirect path to a destination. So if we knew that this Stargate way off in the distance is camped, we can warp to our bounce before warping down to the Stargate. This is really useful if you know that there's a drag bubble or someone camping said drag bubble on the Stargate. If you were to warp directly to the Stargate, you will get caught inside of that bubble and you will get attacked. But if you warp to a bounce, you'll indirectly warp to your bounce, and then you'll warp down to the Stargate, essentially avoiding the drag bubble. So how do we create one of these? So to create one of these bounces, we are going to, first of all, warp at range to our Stargate. Once again, this could be really done on a station, really anything you need to bounce. So we are going to warp to the Stargate at 100 kilometers. And now we are going to pick a random location and turn on our prop mod and wait until we are 150 kilometers away from the Stargate. So now we are roughly about 300 kilometers away from our Stargate. We can go ahead and set this as our bounce. There we go. So now, instead of warping directly to the Stargate, we are going to warp to our bounce. Then from our bounce location, we'll warp to the Stargate, and thus avoiding a drag bubble or any camps that are aligned with any other celestial station or Stargate in the solar system. And that is it for this video, guys. Fly dangerous. Peace. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. You guys can check out my other previous videos by clicking the two thumbnails on screen right now. And if you've enjoyed this video and would like to see more, go ahead and click on that subscribe button. Fly dangerous. Peace.